In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing to hear, nothing to feel, nothing to see. Only emptiness and darkness and nothing but nothing. But God was there, and God had a plan, a wonderful plan. I'll take this emptiness, God said, and I'll fill it up. Out of the darkness, I'm going to make light, and out of the nothing, I'm going to make everything. Like a mummy bird flutters her wings over her eggs to help her babies hatch, God hovered over the deep, silent darkness. He was making life happen. God spoke, that's all, and whatever he said, it happened. God said, "Hello, light," and light shone in the darkness. God called the light day and the darkness night. "Oh, you're good," God said, and they were. "Hello, stars," God said. "Hello, sun. Hello, moon." And whizzing into the darkness came fiery globes, spinning around and around, whirling orange and purple and golden planets. "You're good," God said, and they were. Planets. "You're good," God said, and they were.
Welcome back to our holiday club for 2021. We are in week 2 and we had lots and lots of fun last week. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I am Dr. Doodles. I am the professor. You can call me Professor, you can call me Doodles. Some people even call me Helen. It's weird, I know. I am a lover of art and painting and all things colour, and I believe that I was created to create. Now, today we're going to be thinking about something bright, and the 2 videos that you had before hopefully will give you a hint about what we're talking about. Now, light is everywhere. I wonder how many lights there are in your house. Why don't you pause the video in a moment and go and search around your house and see how many lights you can find, because there are lights everywhere, some in the ceiling, some night lights. See how many lights you can find, and then come back and I'm going to go on count the lights in the church. See you in a bit. See ya. Bye. I lost count counting the lights in the church. There's just too many. I counted 30 candles alone. And then there's the light in the microwave and the light in the fridge and the toilets, and there's just lights everywhere, as well as the light that's on my phone and the torch, and it's just so many lights. And why am I talking about light? Well, that is one of our themes today. We are talking about all things to do with colour. Now, it's time for some fun facts, and I have my fact sheets. Yes, my big wide world fact sheets, and they're all about light today. So I've tried to find some that are not too complicated, because when I googled about light, because I wanted to learn more, there was a lot of sciencey stuff that I didn't quite understand, but that's okay, because maybe I'm not meant to understand it. Maybe that's for more intelligent people. So a light is a beam of energy, and it travels in wavelengths. There we go. It takes just over 8 minutes for light to travel from the sun to Earth, and it is 93 million miles away. That's a long way, isn't it? I think that would take forever, and I don't think you could go by car, could you? Plus, the sun's quite hot, so I don't think we should go. I don't think we'll get enough petrol for that. No, yeah, I think that's a silly idea. Just like drilling through the earth. We'll park that for one day. Anyway, the reason we're talking about light is because we can't see colour in the dark. What makes it possible for us to see all of the pretty colours is white light made up of all colours. And white light can be split into 7 separate colours that you see in the spectrum of the rainbow. Just like my rainbow tree. It's not like a real tree in real life. I wish could have colours like this. A tree like this would be amazing, wouldn't it? So you've got red and orange and yellow, and then green and blue and indigo, which is like a dark blue, and then purple. Amazing. And it all comes from light. Light is everywhere. And light is essential for life. Not only does it help us see all the colours of the rainbow and everything else in between, it also helps things grow. And plants need it, we need it, so it must be essential for life. And even at night time, you can see a little bit of light through the moon. You know, I think all of this talk about light and colours has made me so excited and so thankful. I think we need to sing and dance around, and it is time for our theme song. Okay, so I've been working out, doing some research, and I think there are some actions. So there are 6 wonderfuls in the chorus, okay, in the first line, and it goes wonderful. It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful world. Okay, and then I think it's a marvellous, glorious, simply incredible world. And then you can make up your own actions after that. I don't mind, because I'm not watching. Let's get up. Let's do a little stretch to make sure that we're all limbered up. So stretch the ceiling and down to the floor, and I disappeared. Yeah, let's have some fun. It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful world.
It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful world. It's an utterly marvelous, totally glorious, simply incredible world. And as we stand amazed, we will sing out in praise to the God who together in ways that blow our minds. With whales and snails and fingernails and creatures of all kinds. His handiworks all around us and plain for all to see. From outer space to the nose that on my face, he made it all. It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful world. It's an utterly marvelous, totally glorious, simply incredible world. And as we stand amazed, we will sing out in praise to the God who made it all. This marvelous, glorious, wonderful, wonderful world. Oh, oh, oh. This marvelous, glorious, wonderful, wonderful world. He made it all work together in ways that blow our minds. With trees and seas and gravity and wonders of all kinds. His handiworks all around us and plain for all to see. He's one who cares, so he even counts the hairs upon my head. It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful world. It's an utterly marvelous, totally glorious, simply incredible world. And as we stand amazed, we will sing out in praise to the God who made it all. This marvelous, glorious, wonderful, wonderful world. Oh, oh, oh. This marvelous, glorious, wonderful, wonderful world. W-O-N-D-E-R, it's wonder, wonderful. W-O-N-D-E-R, it's wonder, wonderful. W-O-N-D-E-R, it's wonder, wonderful. W-O-N-D-E-R, it's wonder, wonderful. It's a wonderful, 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 wonderful world. It's an utterly marvelous, totally glorious, simply incredible world. And as we stand amazed, we will sing out in praise to the God who made it all. This marvelous, glorious, wonderful, wonderful world. Oh, oh, oh. This marvelous, glorious, wonderful, wonderful world. Wonderful!
Imagine waking up to all of those colours in your bedroom. That room that we just saw was designed, or the colours were picked by a young child who is going to primary school, starting primary school in just a few weeks. I imagine he's very excited. I love those colours. I wouldn't have picked the red, but it's not my choice. What's your favourite colour? I haven't asked you that yet, have you? I wonder if you can remember what my favourite colour is. I think I told you last time. Anyway, it's this colour, green. Green is my favourite colour. Our story today is about somebody who had trouble seeing colours. In fact, he had trouble seeing anything at all. And at the beginning of the story, Jesus tells his friends that he is the light of the world. And maybe later on we'll discover what that means. I can see. These are the pictures here. I have a question, said one of Jesus' friends. There was a man here who's been blind since he was born. Did it happen because his parents did something bad? No, said Jesus. God doesn't punish people by making their children blind. But I'll tell you what, God can use this man's blindness to show how powerful he really is. While I am here, I and the light for the world. And with that, Jesus walked over to the man. He knelt down. He spat on the ground and made a little mud out of the dirt and the spit, and he rubbed it on the man's eyes. It was very messy. "Now, go and wash your face," Jesus said to him, "and you will be blind no more." The man washed his face just as Jesus said, and when he shook the water from his hair and opened his eyes, he could see. "We have a question," said some of the people who were gathered around. "Aren't you the blind man who used to beg for food?" "I am," said the man who used to be blind. "Then how can you see?" "Well, I met a man named Jesus, and he rubbed mud in my eyes." The crowd were amazed. They were ready to cheer. Then someone else spoke up. Excuse me, I have a question too." This was a religious teacher who didn't much like Jesus. Why? Well, because Jesus was too popular and didn't always agree with what the other teachers said. "Jesus heals you, and he did it today?" the teacher asked. "Yep, that's right," said the man. "Well, today is a day of rest, the special day that God set aside, the day which no one is allowed to work. But healing is work, surely. So how can this Jesus be on God's side if he doesn't follow God's rules?" "I don't know," said the man, "but I can see." "Because the bad man made you well," accused the teacher. "Wait," said someone else. "How can a bad man do good things like that?" "That's what I want to know," said another. And they asked the man who used to be blind all kinds of questions. "Were you really blind? Were you just pretending? Who is this Jesus anyway?" It was just too much for the man who used to be blind. "Listen," he shouted. "I don't know all of the answers to your questions, but I do know this. Once I was blind and now I can see. Who but someone sent by God could do a thing like that?" A little later, as the man was sitting by himself, Jesus came to see him. "I know it's been a hard day," he said, "but I have a question too. Do you believe that God sent me?" "I do," said the man. "I really do." Jesus smiled. Then no more questions. What a great story. Has a little bit of an icky bit in the middle with the mud. I'm not sure I'd like that. I'm not sure many opticians would agree. Yeah. How many senses do we have? So we have hearing, sight, speech, touch, and taste. 5. Our senses help us to understand some of the story. Jesus used his eyes to see the man that was blind. I want you to close your eyes and keep them shut. Imagine what it would be like for the man to never have been able to see. You don't know what colours are. You can't see your own face. Life must be really tricky. Now keep your eyes closed for a moment and take off your shoes and your socks. Now I want you to stand up, turn around and then put them back on, but don't open your eyes. This man must have been so keen to be able to see. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Jesus' friends asked him questions about why this man was the way he was. And Jesus smiled at them and said, it wasn't because anything happened. It wasn't because anybody had done something bad, but something amazing is going to happen. And because of it, we're going to see God in action. I want you to put your hands over your ears and block out as much sound as you can for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can let them go now. I said you can uncover them now. Sorry, you'd already done it, hadn't you? Yeah. Have you ever stopped and just listened? There are so many sounds in the world. There's birds chirping, there's cars going past. This man in the story was listening very carefully as the people asked why he couldn't see. We're often quite quick to talk and slow to listen. The blind man needed to keep listening because Jesus said something that made all of the difference. While I am in the world, Jesus said, I am the light of the world. What a fascinating thing to say. We've thought about light and what it is. I wonder if the blind man knew Jesus was going to heal him. What does being the light of the world actually mean? After saying this, Jesus did something, this is the weird bit of the story, something that opticians wouldn't do. He spat on the ground, made some mud, and then put it on the man's eyes. It must have been so strange for the man, because he could probably hear Jesus spitting on the floor, even if he couldn't, because he couldn't see it, and then feeling Jesus touch his eyes. Can you imagine what that must have felt like? When people saw the man who used to be blind, they noticed that he could see. They wondered what had happened and if it was actually the same person. Maybe it was his twin, maybe it was his brother, maybe he just looked like him. They couldn't believe something so incredible had happened, but it really had. The rest of the story is rather sad because the leaders who were watching Jesus completely missed what was going on. In fact, they complained about what Jesus had done because they said Jesus had healed somebody, done something amazing on the Sabbath day, the day that we were meant to rest. They even brought in the man's parents and questioned them. And then they pushed the blind man away and rejected him. But the man was so pleased that he could see, it probably didn't matter much to him. Our discovery today is that Jesus brings hope into our lives. And like a light that shines in the darkness and shows us all the colours, he is the light of the world that shines even in the darkest of places. We have seen some fabulous videos today, all about colour and light. That video that you just watched was an advert for the Sony Bravia TV, and it came out a few years ago, and they filmed it in Glasgow in Scotland, on a building that was going to be demolished, and they used 70,000 litres of environmentally friendly paint and set off over 690 paint bombs, and it was incredible. And you can see other videos that they've done, so Google Sony Bravia adverts. Amazing, all about colour. Now that reminds me of our challenge. I want to set you a challenge for the week. Last week I asked you to go exploring, and I know that two little people, Harry and Mia, went exploring to the park and went in the river. I'm not sure Grandad was very pleased, but it's fine, they had fun. Now, our challenge today is all about colour. Now, as an artist, I need to look occasionally at the colour wheel, and it looks like this. You can see it's got all of the colours of the rainbow in a circle, and it shows how they connect with each other and how you can mix colours without making them brown, because I mean, not everybody wants brown all the time. So my challenge to you this week is to go around your house and find some things that match the colours of the rainbow and the colours of the colour wheel, and I'll leave a picture of the colour wheel on the screen in a moment, and then put them on the floor in a circle and take a photo, and I'll show you my colour wheel that I made with the things that I found. So take a photo, or get a grown-up to take a photo, send it in, and I'll leave my email address somewhere here or in the comments. Send them in. Thank you so much to Harry and Mia for sending in their A to Z of all things natural. They had some amazing things on their list, and well done to Karen for finishing this, although she did say that she struggled with the letter X, which is a very, very difficult letter to think of something natural. Xanthan gum, just thought about it, something you put in cakes to make them do something. Yeah, it's spelt with an X. Anyway, brain, stop working. Next time, we're going to be thinking about all of the wild and wonderful, weird and wacky animals that live on Earth. So I thought it'd be really fun if you can come dressed as your favourite animal. Maybe you could wear your favourite octopus shirt, or you could dress up like a squirrel. I haven't decided what animal I'm going to come dressed as yet, so that will be a surprise. Yeah, wear your favourite animal t-shirt, or come dressed as an animal, and then you can take a photo of yourself dressed as an animal, because I'd love to see it. Sadly, our time together has come to an end for this week. But before we go, I'm going to leave you with this really fun song about God making the world. Don't forget to send in your pictures of your colour wheel and maybe your A to Z, and have fun. Don't forget to have fun. It's always important. Until next time, keep discovering. See you later. Bye.
And set the stars ablaze, lit up the heavens to declare his praise. If God built the mountains and he filled the sea, God must be great, great enough for me to fully trust him. When the going gets tough, yeah, we can trust him. God is is able enough to keep us standing, whatever may come our way. Our God's unfailing, from the first to the last, He's never changing. Future, present and past, our God's amazing, and we can put our trust in Him. God freed His people from the Pharaoh, battle for Joshua down in Jericho. If God rescued Daniel from the lion's den, God must be great, really great. So then we ought to trust Him. When the going gets tough, yeah, we can trust Him. God is able enough to keep us standing, whatever may come our way. Our God's unfailing, from the first to the last, He's never changing. Future, present and past, our God's amazing, and we can put our trust in Him. If God showed His love when Jesus died for me, dealt with my sin, I got His guarantee. If God proved it all when Jesus rose again, God must be great, really great. So then be sure